Yeah, you. Do these pics mean anything to you? Well, they certainly do to me. Now, let me take you back to the olden days. Back in 2019, when Apex had just dropped new on the Steam page and on the consoles. Well, back in that time, and yeah, well, Apex had just dropped and it was the best game on the market. And for me, it was the first ever FPS character based shooter I had played. The only game I had played before that was Fortnite, and we all know how that game turned out. Well, anyways, so back at that era of gaming, something like Apex was so new because it combines like mechanics from Titanfall and the great movement we had from Titanfall to something that Overwatch did so well before. And well, to put it simply, even though I was trash at the game, it was probably the best time I had had. And for not too long, up until season 0 to season 3, I played and I was trash at it, and yet I logged on to it every day after I came back home from school and finished my homework. And the point was that even though I didn't have any money to spend on the game, I didn't have any skins I have now, I didn't have any heirlooms I did, every day I would log in with my friend group and I would sit down and just play the game for hours on end without being bored even a single time. Well,
Well,
what about today? I've had 500 levels for a long time, and then the level upgrade came, and I gained even more levels. I'm plus 200, like above 500. I don't really remember how the system works anymore. I've bought multiple battle passes, gained multiple battle passes for free because of the way the money works in the game, and I have bought an heirloom, and I have been consistently good at the game. But you know what? The game just doesn't hit the same. And if you go onto YouTube right now, you can see what has happened to the Apex we all knew. You can like literally just search up Apex on YouTube. I guarantee you within the first 10 videos you will find one video which is talking about the cheating situation. Now, coming back to the past, since season 3, I stopped playing for a while, but even though I switched to other story based games, there was something about Apex that just felt different. Like no other game had that. And to be honest, and if I'm being really honest about the game still has something which a lot of other games don't. That is clean, smooth gameplay. But what season 3 and what the current season 22 is are a big difference in gameplay, right? In season 3, all we saw was smooth, clean, and minimal gameplay. If you remember the old character like selection screen, it was only 8 legends or some 8 legends or so. Yeah, 8 legends, and Crypto was just added in season 3, and even though he was trash, everyone in the lobby at least had one. But nowadays, we see multiple seasons go by, and yet no new changes or no new things for the player to enjoy. All we see is silly crash grab attempts, silly heirlooms, and trash battle pass systems. I mean, the company has just delved into a horrible situation where it's clearly EA taking hold instead of Respawn, and they're just butchering the game and its mechanics. I mean, back in season 3 and like up till now, in fact, like up till season 21, I played on consoles, yes, and I was fortunate enough to never face any horrible cheater situation. I have had a few cheaters ruin my experience, but that doesn't matter that much because it was like one guy who was wall hacking. But the thing is, it's so crazy that one person hacking in the game doesn't seem to be a big thing like in the current state of Apex. But back in season 3, if even a single guy showed any claims of even being a wall hacker or an aimbotter, that would be a serious allegation, and that would actually get them banned. We have seen pro players get banned because of that. But right now, the game is just falling off, and I think I know why. My theory on this is, and by the way, this goes not only for Apex but for other FPS shooters. The thing with gaming is we all and some corner of our mind like to win when we play games, right? But when the gaming experience itself is fun, that doesn't really matter unless you're a sweaty player. Like, imagine the last time in like the original days of Fortnite or in the original days of Apex. When was the last time you actually raged when you didn't win, or when you were sad when you were like playing the game in general? Right now, if you think about that, you would probably not be even happy at like turning on the game if you don't win the first match or you don't play well, because the substance of the game has went so low and so down that the only thing that is giving you any dopamine per se or any happiness is actually winning the game. But I differ from that. I think that is not how it should be, because the way original Fortnite and Apex, the way they were formed, like, being honest, there was a factor of it being new at that time, but still, the way the game worked and the way the game was, they were made in such a way that each moment you stayed on the game was as fun as you winning the game. And what we see now is Apex has introduced 50 new. And even though these additions to the game are genuinely fun, like Akimbos are fun, the thing that is the most basic thing that a game should take care of is the player experience and it not being ruined by trash, scummy cheaters. Like, if you hop onto a game and the gameplay I'm showing in my background, right? This was the first match in 3 days where I have not died to someone who is most likely wall hacking, and I'm not saying that because I'm bad. I'm because I have died. Like, I've been playing this new mode because I haven't played Apex in a while, and I was fine with dying, but then some random guy snipes my team from like 500 meters away, and my whole team is killed, like, from that one guy. And things like that make me suspicious. And with the current state of Apex, I don't have any trust that they might not actually be cheating, because in other games, like, let's even Fortnite for that example, even though that game is trash, cheating in that game, at least to my knowledge, isn't as bad as it is in Apex. So if you die and some player is like really insane, you might actually give credit to the player instead of thinking it's cheats. I mean, if, like, looking at the current state of the game, if you think you have got killed by someone who's insane, most likely they were cheating. I'm gonna be honest. And I don't blame like any of the devs or anything, because they're doing what EA is telling them to do. And like, personally, Hideouts and them, they are working just fine, because first of all, Hideout is a one-man army who's like trying to get rid of all the cheaters, but that even doesn't work out. So it's not the fact that the game is cheating, it's or the game has cheaters in them. It's the fact that the company behind the game, EA, I'm not talking about Respawn right now, EA and in part Respawn, won't do anything to fix it. Like, I'm sure they have attempted some things, but clearly they're not working. And I'm gonna be honest, if you're one of the most like successful companies and one of the richest companies in the gaming industry, like, period, you should be able to fix your game that is your most prized asset. Like, currently, what other game from Respawn is booming as much as Apex? No other game. And I don't think any other live EA game, maybe like FIFA, other than FIFA, is doing as well as Apex. Because even though we have claims of Apex dying, there are still skins in the item shop that people are gobbling up. There are still skins that are really clean. And the thing is, I think EA is so blind in front of money that until we actually don't buy something, or until we actually show like incredible distaste for their options of purchase options, or like their thought process behind players paying ridiculous amounts of money for content, they won't actually stop. And they won't stop to even look behind the millions of like minor things that they're trampling upon. Because you remember when the new battle pass system dropped, like the one they thought they would implement, where it was like, I think, double the money for like 2 battle passes or something. they were most likely going to implement, and I'm going to be honest, it was 99% the case that they were going to implement it. It was only when we all like threatened them in the Reddit like posts and on their Twitter that we were not going to buy them. I don't think even the fact that we were disappointed with the thing mattered to them. I think it was more of we wouldn't buy them or we wouldn't do this with it that actually changed their mind. And similarly with cheaters, I would say they don't see an actual benefit to removing cheaters, at least a monetary benefit. Because let's be honest, if you fix the normal gameplay, because right now the thing we don't get is Apex in its current state is worse than it was as a base, like plain game without any mechanics. I'm gonna be honest, because the thing is, like smooth gameplay and free like ability to play without being hacked or cheated and being sent death threats literally is like the base, like the base minimum of a game that should be like maintained like the entire time the game is made, right? And right now it's gone so below that when EA thinks of devoting any resources to fix it, most likely their thought process is, if we get it back to the normal, we won't make any more money. We would still make money, but we wouldn't make any more money. So why would we do it? Why can't we just like drag people along? Because let's be honest, even though like Apex as a game is doing bad and is doing horrible, it's still printing a ton of money for them. It's not like they're struggling with money or they're struggling with the funds they need, right? In fact, I'm gonna pull up some metrics from the player base and let's see what is going on, right? And if you look here, the way this metric shows, and I'm gonna edit it properly so you can see that, there's the battle pass chart, which is clearly a scam and it's a money grab if anything. And then when we go forward and we see the Steam reviews, they were like, for the entirety of Apex until like last season or so, they were overwhelmingly good or overwhelmingly positive, as Steam would put it. But recent reviews are mostly negative, and they were so like strong, the recent reviews, that they managed to change the overall reviews from like good to mixed. So if that doesn't prove that the players are actually like done with the game, I don't think anything would. Because if you see this graph like from another like database, in July 2024, Apex lost 22,000 players and their peak player count was like 265,000, which is good enough, but losing that many players is crazy for a game. And you can see that even though there are so many pluses, they're so minute. Like February 2023, they were gaining 50, like half 100,000 players, 50,000 players every month, because the game was that fine. Even though we were complaining back then that the game was bad, we didn't know that it was about to be even worse, right? And that is the basic thing. And that is basically like why games in general are bad. Players and companies, not players, well, companies have changed their mindset from being consumer and customer focused to money minded. And until and unless Apex has like, it's literally until it's unplayable to the point like where you can't even log in for like every person, I don't think they would really care. Because let's be honest, right now there's like a majority of the player base is still like mad about cheaters, but they're not taking any clear actions on it. And for someone who plays like casual Apex like me, like I have played some rank but nothing like serious on like Apex, it's weird to see. Because when I hop on the game, I just want to have like a fun time with my friends and just close the game right then and there. But when you have to sit in a lobby which is laggy, which has no audio, and then you get one good match which gets ruined by cheating people who have no other thing to do but cheat, that's just like annoying. Because I mean, what can I do to even fix that, right? So that's pretty annoying, and there's no fix for that until the company actually fixes their game. And yeah, I think that is why Apex is struggling so much. And another point on that would be why any game is struggling so much is that players and companies are under this misconception that are under this misconception that adding multiple features and multiple things, like, to be honest, Fortnite did do it pretty well, like with the features they added, but their original player base is just gone. It's just 10-year-old kids playing the game, right? In Apex, it's to a much lesser extent. Like the base mechanics and the base smoothness of the game is still there. That is the only reason it's alive. Like if we take off the movement from Titanfall from this game, I'm gonna be honest, 99% of the players that claim they don't play the game for the movement would still quit, because the way that the game is just moves so smoothly when it's working fine, that is what keeps the player base alive, right? And similarly, the thing is, when Apex added multiple different features and modes and like stopped focusing on what the players actually wanted, the players don't care like if you have like 15 new shiny things, if you don't like maintain their old like nice things. Like in season 3, the battle pass was basic, it had a nice peacekeeper skin, but what do you know, it was one of the most successful seasons for the game. Why? Because simply put, the game was smooth, the game was clean, there were not as many cheaters, and the people enjoyed and were happy with what they got because it was actually worth getting. Right now, we have probably 10 times the mechanics, and there's like 10 times better optimization for the frame rate of the game and the actual movement of the game, but still everyone is complaining because the base gameplay is so bad and the base marketing and pricing of the game is so bad. The game is free, but I think it would probably end up costing you more than any like paid game. Like Rocket League before it went like free to play would probably cost you less than actually playing a month of Apex, because the way that their like predatory
Sorry,
store
man.
system is made up.
Please rest.
And yeah, that's basically my rant on why Apex sucks. I just thought of giving my opinions. Well, that's it. Bye bye.